Wait for it. Waiting for it.
Check
Pausing.
1 2 1 1. Mic check.
You're doing the testing now that we're live.
Testing. Yep.
Yeah, now that you're doing it. What's going on, everybody?
Omaha!
Why Omaha?
I don't
even understand. Just, that's the first thing that came to mind. Hey, everybody, what's going on? Welcome back to Technically Speaking, the live edition. This is the first time we've planned a live show in a while. The last couple of weeks, we've just been kind of going with the flow. This week, we got topics. There are things that happened. We're excited to talk about them.
Yeah, I felt really bad when we had Scott on last time because it was a train wreck.
It was all over the place.
Oh, come on.
Our live studio
audience already screwed it up.
Ruining things. So what's happening each week? Scott and I get together to talk about the latest happenings in tech. We talk about interesting stories that have happened throughout the week. In this case, a couple of weeks because last week was Thanksgiving, so we didn't have a show on Thursday. So this is our first show back since the holiday break.
We did, however, have that sweet Black Friday special.
Oh yes,
Yes,
we did.
We're going to dive into that and do a little bit of on-site planning for the channel in front of everybody, and he doesn't know that.
I have no...
I
have an
love doing
entire
this.
document that has several topics on it.
And that was not one of them.
That wasn't on that document.
Sure wasn't.
So, okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay. That'll be fun. I have
no
no idea what to expect there.
I feel like you might be a little salty right there. I can see it in your eyes like,
no, I'm just...
great. I'm so glad that you're my partner.
This is literally me just running through, like, what are the possibilities of this conversation?
We've talked about it. It's not a big deal.
Okay.
We have a lot of potential changes with the channel.
We do indeed.
A lot. We're going to talk about all the changes with the channel. Maybe.
Possibly.
Kind of.
Yeah. So, wait, what's going on, man? I haven't seen you since...
At least yesterday.
Well, yeah. No, did I see you yesterday? Yeah, I guess I did. But it's
did you?
been...
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Thanksgiving was really the last time that we kind of hung out and did YouTube-related stuff.
Been working on a lot of thumbnails. A lot of photography.
Yeah.
So did you update your thumbnails?
No, I have them. I haven't updated them yet. You know why? Because I've been too busy playing with my brand new camera. Oh, yes. Lumix G7. Thank you, the Everyday Dad, for that suggestion. It just came in the mail today, so I broke that.
It's pretty dope, too. It's pretty sweet.
It's really nice. I'm actually genuinely surprised. Takes great pictures. I would hope so.
It is a camera.
Yeah.
And it's 4K.
Yeah.
You are making the 4K dip into the channel.
Yeah, I am making the jump to 4K. The idea being...
puffy in this. My goodness.
Dude, you look svelte. I like your 52 pack that you have going on there with all these bacon strips and bacon strips. So the idea with jumping to the 4K camera, we've resisted it for a long time, but from a production standpoint, you can do a lot of like crops and zooms and dollies and stuff like that and still keep the footage quality at least 1080p, which if you've ever looked at any of our previous videos where we do any like close-ups and crop-ins and stuff like that, you can definitely tell a degradation in the quality of the picture.
How are you gonna throw us under the bus like that?
Look, I'm just being real, man.
I think our stuff looks fine. No, okay, hang on.
I'm not saying it doesn't look
Whoa,
fine.
whoa, whoa.
I'm saying
are you
can
just
tell
saying
a
this because
degradation in quality of video?
Are
That's what I'm saying.
Are you literally
Don't
just
put words in my mouth.
Are you putting people to the channel because I'm the one that's done like that last 12 videos?
No, way to throw
That's
yourself
right.
under the bus.
No,
idiot.
I'm throwing you under the bus because you're not making content, jerk.
Except for the last 2 videos that I did.
You're 1080p.
Mm-hmm. Her face is 1080p. Anyway, so did the Lumix G7 at the suggestion from the Everyday Dad. So big thanks to that one. What has anything else happened? I'm trying to think if there's anything else monumental, anything important that's happened since Thanksgiving. And boy, gosh, I'm just drawing blank. Can't think of anything. Black Friday, yeah.
I went back to work this week.
I didn't. I did for 2 days.
You didn't. No, you didn't.
I did for 2 days. So it turns out...
You're going to hang your hat on that?
Turns out I have a lot of vacation that I have to burn, and there's not a lot of days left in the year for me to burn it. So I more or less got strong-armed into taking the week off. Well, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, so, you know.
But don't you have don't you have like 15 days left?
I still have 15 more days for the vacation to burn. And I think we have like 3 weeks worth of work left before the end of the year. So
what else happened this week?
I don't know. Something.
That'll come to us.
Yeah, I'm sure.
All right. Well,
how you gonna do that to him?
What?
How you gonna do that to him?
It'll come to me. I don't know. I can't remember. It will come to me. I have the worst memory. You know this.
How about the single most important metric that our channel has bypassed ever in the history of
that Ohio is going to be accepting Bitcoin?
Dude, let's talk about that one for a second. That one blows me away.
That's so dumb.
So earlier it was announced by the
How you gonna do that to him? Just right past it.
You look, don't even, because I did the same thing to you, and you're like, whoa, I was gonna accept Bitcoin. I was gonna walk past it.
We'll get
Tell him now.
Ohio accepts Bitcoin.
Such a jerk. So Ohio announced via Mr. Josh Mandel that Ohio was going to start accepting Bitcoin payments for businesses that want to do tax payments.
So dumb. It's such a bad idea.
I think it's a terrible idea.
Look, I think that Bitcoin or cryptocurrency is a good idea.
Long term.
Let's put that aside. So
I'm with you.
It's a good idea long term. Right now,
Yeah.
it's a terrible idea. Market is in shambles.
It's an awful investment.
Didn't you just say something like it's 85% lower than what the peak was?
So from peak, I think it's the top 10 cryptocurrencies, which it's basically Bitcoin and then a couple of other fairly well-known ones, and then trash from there on down. All of them are down 85%. So the market a handful of months ago, over a year ago now.
It was a year ago.
Yeah, because it was when we were in Disney, like literally waiting for Hollywood studios to open up. We were sitting there talking about your investments in cryptocurrency.
And I made money.
And you did. And Bitcoin was riding a high. Everyone was talking about it. It was in the news. We had family members reaching out to us talking about, like, how do I get involved in this Bitcoin thing? Because it had gotten that notorious.
What did I invest in that I was like, I lost?
Was it Monero?
No.
No.
Oh my god. XRP. Ripple.
Yeah. Ripple. There it is. Yep. So yeah, Ripple. You lost out on that one.
I did. Let's see how much it is. I bought it at it's so bad. I bought it at like $2.15. $2.15.
It's fractions of that now. At best. So. In short, pretty much the entire cryptocurrency market has long since adjusted. What's it at now?
38 cents.
I'm not a mathematician, but I think that counts as a loss.
The super chat button is on the bottom right.
If you want to help make Mr. Peachy whole again, donate below.
What did I do that for? Like that was a mistake. I got into Ethereum and I got into Litecoin, and I made a boatload.
Litecoin was good. Yeah,
that was a great one.
Yeah, Litecoin was a good investment.
I think I bought Litecoin when it was just like a couple hundred.
So the nice thing was you were able to watch Bitcoin take off and then buy into Litecoin, knowing that Litecoin typically lags behind Bitcoin anyway. So when Bitcoin takes off, so does Litecoin shortly thereafter. When Bitcoin crashes, you get out of Litecoin because it's going down too. So
yeah,
that was helpful.
Oh yeah,
but point is, from a year ago, all of the major cryptocurrencies have lost 85%. So, I mean, let's think about this from the perspective of a state government that wants to accept highly volatile cryptocurrency. The problem is if a business pays their $1 million tax bill with Bitcoin and then the bottom continues to fall out of that $1 million worth of Bitcoin might only be worth $100,000 depending on when the state decides they're going to cash that into real gold-backed, LOL,
right.
U.S. dollars.
And that's why I think cryptocurrency will make it long-term, just not right now. Because of the whole, LOL, it's backed by gold. Yeah, okay, let's go with that.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's the Gartner hype cycle for cryptocurrency. You know what I mean? So the highs that we saw a year ago, that was basically the peak of the hype, and then it'll die back down. And then long-term, it'll just kind of slowly gain. That's how pretty much every technology or every major invention or something along those lines in modern age, it goes through the same Gartner hype cycle. There's a huge marketing push. It gets this crazy, like, hyperbolic peak and then crashes and then just kind of steadily builds until the point where the rest of us are like, yeah, that thing's been around forever.
I bought Litecoin at $104.28. I then traded it when it was above 300. It is currently $33. Oh,
man. Way to get out when the getting's good.
Since it basically peaked in December, it's gone way down, a little bit up, way down, a little bit up, and then just all the way straight down. I'm not going to deny $33.
It's tempting.
It's really
super
tempting. I like Litecoin
Yeah.
quite a bit. Ethereum was also okay.
Yeah.
Those are the two that made me my money. I doubled and a half, something like that, and then proceeded to lose on that other godforsaken cryptocurrency. I forgot my login.
Oh, so it's been that long since you touched it.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
I can't do anything with it.
Yeah.
It has to get above $2.15,
which is not going to happen for
a long time. I'm hoping that I do the
ever.
whole I forgot that I have all of this, and then
Forgotten
order a
fortune.
pizza.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping for, but I don't think that's gonna work.
I mean, Ethereum's interesting for some of the technology behind it. What's it called? The blockchain contract stuff that they're doing is really, really interesting. And yeah, with you, the long-term viability of something like cryptocurrency, I think there's too many benefits, and the fact that the banking industry is paying attention tells me that there's going to be some facet of cryptocurrency that survives into the future. I wouldn't be surprised if Bitcoin is still present, 5-10 years in the future. I would be surprised if some of the smaller ones, the Litecoins, the Dogecoins, the Monero, and all that kind of stuff, I would be very surprised if any of that stuff showed up. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see.
10,000. Not dollars.
No.
10,000 subscribers.
Boom.
Congratulations,
shakalaka,
my friend.
That's
what we were waiting for. Do you guys get it now? Round of applause, audience. Yeah, there we go. Live studio audience.
Way to strong arm them into it.
I did too.
You guilted them into it. Like
totally
nobody.
did.
They're like nobody. We don't care. Nobody
They
cares.
don't care. It's fine, but I care, and I care for you. The 10,000. Yeah, see.
10,000 was a big deal to us when we first got started.
Uh-huh.
We said 10,000 subscribers would be kind of the signal to us to let us know that we're on the right track with making the right content, talking to the right people. People are enjoying what we're doing, and it's just kind of it's a nice round easy number to say, okay, this is getting pretty serious now. Like companies will start to take you a little more seriously because you've crossed a major threshold. I mean, all around, it was a big marker to us.
Are you officially a YouTuber now?
Oh man, I don't know.
That's a loaded concept.
I don't think so. I really don't. I mean, do we make YouTube content? Yes.
Are you a content creator?
I mean, yeah, I feel comfortable with that one. I feel like YouTuber is are we doing this full time type of qualifier, and we're not.
Really? That's
I don't know. To me, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I don't take it. Not that I don't take it seriously, but I still recognize the fact that we're still amateurs doing this. Like, this isn't our full-time job. We try very hard. This is very easily a part-time job for us.
Yeah.
No question.
Oh, yeah.
But we're not quitting our day jobs for it. Now.
I wish.
Oh, God, I wish, too.
Don't fire me. If you're watching, which you're not, but don't fire me anyway.
Like 100,000 subscribers? Is that where you're a little more officially? I don't know. I don't know where you draw the line for.
I see a lot of the people that have like hundreds of thousands of subscribers or millions of subscribers. Is even some of them it's their full-time gig, but even then, that's not their full-time gig.
Yeah, and I would be surprised. We would have to have like ridiculous growth for us to quit our day jobs.
Like Matty Hippoja, I think it's Hippoja. I always say it wrong. Hippoja, Peter McKinnon. Yeah. Those guys had like videography and photography businesses well in advance of their other ventures. I think it's Chris and Becky. I'm been watching their stuff too. I think it's Chris and Becky. I know I can't remember it. But yeah, exactly. But the point is content, though, for sure. Good content, but they were doing things outside of that before they did YouTube. Yeah. So like they had wedding photography businesses or marketing firms that they went out to company. And like what our last guest, Scotty Boombox,
he's a legit producer.
Like he's a producer. Yeah. Like he has another gig. It's just like naturally the thing to get into is YouTube. Like it's just a natural stepping stone. Whereas we kind of went the other way. We dumped all into. Oh my gosh!
Oh my god, dude!
Andrew,
you're too good to us, man. You can't do that. You're gonna be a heart attack on air here live. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
But we definitely enjoy doing this. We enjoyed doing the shows that we did last week, like more of the kind of in studio where Greg and I become part of the product. So this will parlay into my comment earlier about how we'll talk about some of the
planning,
the planning and changes to the channel. I'm dumping Greg.
Greg, you're officially fired.
I'm moving on to another channel. I'm kidding. I'm not. Yeah, I really am getting rid of him though. No.
Oh, such a jerk.
No. Anyway. So we actually have teamed up with Boombox.
Yep.
He is going to be our the technically speaking graphic designer.
Yeah.
He's doing some new logos for us. A little bit of a rebrand. You can probably tell by some of our thumbnails. I have been spending a tremendous amount of time trying to dump time, energy, resources, just overwhelming knowledge just to try to make the thumbnails just look better, pop, want you to go and click on them, not because we want the clicks, but because we want you to take it seriously. Like, hey, we're putting effort into this thing. We want this thing to be successful. Therefore, look at my thumbnails. And I think, like, look, I'm not perfect. I've gotten way better,
say,
though.
All you have to do is go back and look at
I've gotten
the original stuff where it was
better.
still all you on the channel. The original thumbnails. If your videos even had thumbnails, PVC
I would just
backdrop.
put them up. I didn't. PVC backdrop. That video just
it is the Energizer Bunny of videos on this channel.
It is the zombie of our channel.
Will not die. No thumbnail, no SEO on it, no tags, no nothing. But it just
gangbusters.
Yeah.
That thing will make me $20 a month.
That's crazy to
me. $20 a month. And true story, I have to credit the person who told me that to do that video.
Yeah.
Because I had told him about our challenge, kind of the way our channel has progressed. We are at 10,000 now, but what we progressed is started with the bet.
Yep.
I won the bet. Say it.
Yeah, he won the bet.
Won the bet. That's right. Amen. Yes. And I had to make a video, and Kevin at work was like, make a video doing like PVC stuff, and he had told me everything that he had done with PVC.
Is this the same Kevin
that said we wouldn't make it to January?
Of last year.
Of last year.
January of not January of this year. January of last year. He said we wouldn't make it there.
Yep, and we made it. And we're gonna make this January.
I can't hear you, Kevin.
We're gonna make this
sound
January.
Of being right.
And then I'm firing Greg.
Just so I could say you were wrong 2 years over.
Exactly.
And also you're fired.
But that video, he gave me the idea. I recorded that video with a phone and a Google Pixel C tablet.
Oh yeah, that's where you did the editing too.
Did the editing on that, put it up. That thing makes $20 a month.
It looks like
looks like hell.
It
just
really does. It looks like hell.
It's still the same great talent. Same great talent. Same great talent. Same great taste. But the video quality is a little.
It is pretty dicey.
Sketch.
Yeah, to go from like those original thumbnails to where we're at now, night and day difference.
Oh yeah,
it's a huge improvement.
I've learned a lot of like Photoshop technique because I'm still a novice, like extremely novice.
For sure.
So again, 10,000 subscribers. We're gonna do a little bit of a rebrand, not in terms of like
we're not changing the name or
the channel.
Yeah.
It's just
updating graphics.
Yeah, graphics gonna be updated. Banner's gonna be upgraded. We're actually putting together a media kit that we're gonna be reaching out to different companies to say like, hey, 10,000 subscribers, so and so million, impressions a month or whatever the number actually is, and we're going to reach out to these companies and say, hey, we really like your product, we really want to get you on the channel. That way we can still continue to put out amazing content, but much bigger like dive into that. Yeah. And I'm still firing Greg.
Yeah. Well, but anyway, so we bring this up to all of you because I mean we wouldn't be here like this. This is all because of you, so thank you, and I kind of feel obligated to at least let everyone know kind of what's going on behind the scenes.
Hard hands.
Oh, absolutely, man. So thank you all so much who tune in every week to watch two idiots from Ohio talk about, including the big dumb Baldwin over there.
Wow, that's hurtful. That's very hurtful. I
know him.
I think it probably hit me when at first when there was like, okay, no, there's people who I didn't know or I don't know, like talking or making comments about us, and I will never forget. It was actually, I believe, this time last year that Miss Sheila sent us ribs.
Yeah, it was indeed. Yeah,
right around the Thanksgiving holiday,
which is still the highlight of my YouTube career.
Yeah, I don't think I will ever forget that.
Yeah, never, ever.
Yeah, just like so, it's things like that just a crazy ride.
Yeah. All right, enough about us.
I'm crying currently.
You are? Tears?
No, I'm not. I'm too dehydrated.
You know. All right, enough
You're
about
welcome
us.
for my service. Thank you. Thank you, Cameron.
So what else do we want to talk about? How about Project Fi? That's some kind of big news for Google.
It's big news, except if you're a data hog. If you're a data hog, that's not like, look, I am a Google person, and you know this. I can't use Fi.
So, real quick, what is Project Fi?
Project Fi is Google's cellular service. So, long story short, Project Fi uses, it's a lot like Metro PCS,
right,
where it uses the other towers of other providers. I definitely know it's US Cellular. I think it's Sprint in our area. So they'll basically,
I know it's definitely Sprint.
They'll borrow the Rib's anniversary. Thank you. Rib anniversary. Rib anniversary. Ribiversary. Basically, Project Fi will use Sprint towers or US Cellular towers, or depending on the location that you're in, those types of. I do not believe they'll use AT&T or Verizon. I do not think that they'll use those two. They'll use everyone else but them. Maybe not even T-Mobile. But the point is, it's pay as you go.
Right.
Gigabytes. So you basically will pay, like, I think I'm going to use 1 gig this month. You pay $20 or $25 for the service plus $10 or $15 for the gig. And so you have extremely cheap phone services. And it's great if you're on Wi-Fi all the time. If you're on Wi-Fi all the time, it's a no-brainer.
You save a ton of money.
A ton of money. Like, for my father, who is on Wi-Fi 98% of the time, it's perfect service for him. Mm-hmm. And he actually has an iPhone. So I am seriously considering doing this because, like you just mentioned, they open this up for someone who's not on, like, a Google Pixel.
That used to be the previous qualification was you had to have a Pixel device, and now they are opening up to iPhones, Samsung phones. I don't know if it's all Android phones. I don't believe it is. I think they're just kind of sticking with the big names for now.
It's iPhones.
Right, that's what I'm saying. They're sticking with just the big names for now. So Google phones, obviously, iPhones, Samsung phones.
Yeah,
that's the vast majority of phones.
Vast majority of the phones, like at that point. So, like, if you hold any one of those, there's a really good chance that a Google Fi like SIM card will work for you. And if you're on Wi-Fi, it will work perfectly for you, and you'll save a ton of money. You will only actually use, like, if you use the data, you pay for it. If you don't pay for it. It's a great service if you're at home, or and this is why I can't use it. I don't. I me personally, I don't have. Shut up, Greg.
I'm not wrong.
You're not wrong. Look, I can't do it. Like, I stream all the things.
Yeah.
I routinely will use 15 to 17 gigs a month,
which is crazy.
I don't
know if I use that much on my home wired connection. Yes, I do.
Shut up! I just watched you earlier when you're like, I think I've used 300 terabytes.
Okay, first of all, it was like 2 terabytes for the month, but shush.
Right. Anyway, going on with where I'm right, I have no self-control. So, like, I have a Google Pixel 3 XL with a super dope case, but we'll talk about that in a second. And I'll take these really dope photos, and then I'll edit in Lightroom, and then I just upload. And I'm like, man, I don't even care. I'll just take give me all the AT&Ts. And I do that, and I don't care.
Sure.
Because I have, like, 60 gigs a month that I can use.
You could just not... You could look at a video and go, you know what? I'll watch this later. I don't need to watch this right now. You are the king of, like, instant gratification. I need this, and I need it now.
I want it all. I want it all. I want it all, and I want it now. Yeah, that's me.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even care.
King of instant gratification.
I don't care.
So
Who
real
wants
quick,
an iPhone? Kathleen, you're right. Who wants an iPhone?
I mean, I'm not disagreeing.
You're not wrong with that.
For sure. Big shout out to Technically T, who just joined us. And of course, the Everyday Dad, who I saw earlier out there hanging out, saying congrats for the 10,000. Mentioned earlier as far as, like, doing YouTube full time, he's like, he would have to get substantially bigger because of the tax costs, the healthcare, and
the healthcare is a big deal.
Brother, feel you on that one.
I gotta call. I know technically he may or may not be on for long, but I gotta call him out for just a hot second because there was a video by now technically T, if you hear and talk to Sean Be Nice, I watched that video of YouTubers, the YouTubers I don't like.
Yes,
dude, I almost lost it when he made a comment about technically T wearing his do-rag in his thumbnails.
The phone cases.
And in the phone cases. And then the ramen noodles comment, I about lost my mind. Look, if you're watching now and you need to just go check out Technically T's channel, first of all. You need to go check out and just subscribe to both Technically T and Sean Be Nice because great
That
videos.
guy's going places.
And straight up, T, he's right. Your videos are some of the best tech review videos. But when he was going in on you about those cases, I couldn't help but laugh. I almost wanted him to do one on us because I'm afraid to see what he would say. But I'll be honest, I would be cracking up.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But anyway, so folks, go out there and check it out. Sean Be Nice has a great video about T. Great sport about it. Both are wonderful creators. Go out and check them out
for sure. What else we got? So
Project Fi. Great for somebody who does Wi-Fi only. If you can stop yourself from downloading or stop yourself from doing what I do.
If you have any self-control.
I don't.
Fact.
I don't.
I'm not
saying. I don't even think about it. Why are you?
Because it's easy.
Why?
Because you're a great punching bag.
Why?
It's just so easy. So you have a story in here. That,
hang on. It's your beer.
I guess my.
Sorry, I need my water.
Your La Croix.
My La Croix.
You have a story in here about. You have 2 more Google stories in here, and I have no idea what they're about.
I love it.
Google with the please and thank you.
Oh, you didn't hear about this?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, this is great for your kids.
Inform me. Okay.
Inform you?
Yes.
Remember way back in the day, I said, hey, Google is going to have this service with their Google Homes.
Yeah. Where
you have to say please and thank you to basically basically train your kids to say please and thank you.
Yeah, brilliant.
They turned it on today. But the thing is,
my kids are about to be mad.
It won't work.
No.
Not only hang on. It will work not only for the kids but also for the adults. I mean, so if you say, hey, keyword, please do the thing, she'll actually say something to the nature of, thank you for asking so nicely, here's the thing. I am stupidly excited about this.
Even as an adult, I could probably use to train myself to say please and thank you a little bit more.
It's true, you are a jerk. I am not wrong.
Moving on.
That's
it
what
would
it
be
is,
great
so please
for,
and thank you.
Yeah. Great for the kids.
Look, today's update with the please and thank you was a big deal, but there was other updates that they had too. There was excuse me, little Koi is like
fighting back.
It's fighting back. They now, for the folks that have the Google Home Hub, which I do, or if you have the Lenovo Smart Display, you can now use that for what Google is calling visual lyrics. They made a karaoke machine.
No.
Yes, they did, and I am excited about it.
Of course you would be.
I love singing.
I know you do. That's what I'm saying. Of course singing. You would be excited about that.
They made a karaoke machine, so now I can ask Google to play a song.
Yeah.
And I can sing along to it. Rocket Man! Hello!
Play the music video and everything? Like
the words and everything.
Oh, it's so awesome.
I know. Yeah, so there's that. Cool. And then there's
I want the ability
obviously
to cast that,
the please and thank you.
Yeah, please and thank you is good.
And then they can also do things like, hey, read me this story. Things like Moana, like the what is it, the Golden Rule books or whatever when we were kids.
Yeah.
Those books they'll read along to kids.
Oh, that's awesome.
Huge deal. So one of the best things that I think Google has done is double down on the kids.
Yeah,
huge deal.
Huge market.
My kids use it.
Huge market
all the time. Yeah. As a matter of fact, we gifted Scotty Boombox a couple Google Homes, and before I left the house helping him set up, the kids were already playing music, like that's full fantastic. On, like changing the lights, changing the music. That she was talking to them, and they loved it. It's the best.
See, and that's you and I have talked about like Google's what's their strategy? What are they going for? And the idea of them, and I get that this will be terrifying to some parents that are out there, but the idea that Google and a lot of these forward-thinking tech companies are targeting children, not in a nefarious way, but what they're trying to do is normalize it, because there's only so much kind of radical technological change that the majority of the population is really going to tolerate before it's just like, I'm good, I don't need it anymore. Whereas you get kids, you get them early, you get them used to doing things like voice-activated whatever, interacting with artificial intelligent assistants. You get them then, and then it's just normal for them. So then they grow up kind of used to what it takes to interact with the Google Assistant or Siri or Cortana or whatever. And I think that's what a lot of these companies are basically waiting on. Is they're waiting now. They're trying to prime the market. They're getting all the devices out there as cheaply as possible, trying to kind of get the ground laid so that as the youngest generations start growing up and getting used to a lot of this technology, it's the same business that Mac got into, where they would donate or cheaply sell all their apples to schools. And that's why, at least me growing up, I remember having the old monochrome orange or green Apple IIs and, well, probably slightly newer. But the old school Macs that you would play Oregon Trail on and do nothing else because I'm not learning to type.
That's you have dysentery.
I died.
Womp, womp, womp. But I remember that. It was great.
That's how they did it. Because they had the idea even back then. If you get the kids used to it, when they grow up, that's what they want. And that's what you're seeing with iPads. That's what you're seeing with now the home assistants and stuff.
I love it.
It's a brilliant idea. Yeah.
The big sale that they were running where you could get like basically a Google Home Mini.
And I hope everybody did it.
If you watched our Black Friday video, it's like $25 Google Home Mini. If you didn't go buy it, shame on you, because that was just...
That's a killer deal.
Great deal. So a friend of ours, friend of the channel, Brian.
Yep.
Friend of the channel. Him and I think his wife actually bought like 12.
Okay.
Because she has She has a business so that she can place them in.
Okay.
And the children interact with it.
Oh, smart. Okay.
So it's just a wonderful, wonderful idea just to get the kids to involve with it. This Pretty Please option where you actually teach children or rude adults how to interact with Google Home is just going to be a great idea. Thank you, Google.
Do you think I'll learn manners finally?
Don't tell me what I know, Travis.
I love that you're painting me like I'm just the rudest person on the planet. Like I'm just this raging a-hole.
I'm a live poll here with the studio audience. Am I right?
They are not the right people to ask.
Am I right, live studio audience? Clap your hands if I'm right. Yeah, there we go.
Such a jerk. Well, I mean, so we talked about the positive side of kids. Do you want to take it to the dark side now?
This is really dark. This is a very, very dark segue.
Okay.
So, this could get really, really philosophical quickly.
Look, anybody who's watched any of our live shows, you know that Scott and I love to talk about artificial intelligence, and we love to talk about like really radical, cutting-edge technologies. The big stuff that is coming that will just fundamentally alter how society works as a whole. And one of the things that has been making grounds lately is this technology called CRISPR, which we've talked about on this show a lot.
I have a hot take on that.
As they do more and more advanced genetic testing. Short version is, CRISPR is a thing that lives inside of you right now. It's basically this biological mechanism that allows your body to unzip DNA, snip out specific pieces of DNA, and then repair it or replace it. It's in all of us. It's always has been. It's just a part of our genetic makeup. The scientific advancement is science learning how to harness that piece of biology that already knows how to work inside of your DNA and search for specific bits of DNA and cut them out, but substituting a different payload for what that CRISPR system would normally do, or the Cas9. I think it's a protein. The Cas9 would normally do. So that's what CRISPR is. It's this man interjecting, hey, I want you to go find this particular gene and I want you to replace it with this. Has a lot of implications for genetic engineering.
Correct.
Fast forward. China just announced the live birth of twin girls who have had their genes altered with CRISPR. And this is the first time...
And an embryo.
in embryo, and this is the first time that it's happened in a human being. Mm-hmm. And they edited these 2 little girls' genetic makeup to make them immune to some diseases, among other things, HIV and AIDS, and I think malaria was one of them too.
I think so too.
Which is significant, not only for the ramifications for, like, wow, imagine if that technology works and we could do that, like, just make everybody immune to AIDS and HIV and malaria and hepatitis and all these other diseases. That would be humongous for us, but there's a lot of very, very, I don't want to say dark implications, but it
has the potential.
Sure does. That's the beginner of designer babies.
Yes, let's pull it. So I'm going to take a bit of a different tactic here. I'm going to say that there's a lot of things that you could potentially eliminate. A lot of diseases like ALS. Yeah. A lot of diseases like multiple sclerosis, things of the mind.
Yeah.
You could effectively go in, clip it out, and then take it away.
Yeah.
One of the experiments that they did on rats was they filled up the rats basically full of HIV. It was like 98% of the cells in these rats had it. 98%. So then they did CRISPR Cas9, edited it out, and injected the new basically chain that they wanted to replicate inside the body into the tail, and then waited overnight, and then checked the body to see how much HIV was there, and it was down to 48%.
That's
overnight.
That's insanity.
So it works, but again, you start to open up a box that once it's opened, you can't close it.
Oh, for sure.
You cannot close it. We are to the point now that there's a little bit of a controversy going on right now to say, like, did he or did he not do the thing? And I believe, I'm looking at here, I believe it happened. Like, the baby girls have been born.
Yeah.
And if they come to find out that they have been edited, that is a box that you cannot close.
There's a lot of caveats to this. I want to make sure that we point out, because again, we love talking about these types of far-fetched technologies and stuff like that, and then when you look at what some of the expert opinions on a lot of stuff are, there's nuance that usually isn't captured in some of the big headlines. So among other things, when we're talking about this CRISPR technology, the idea that you can precisely change one gene and that would precisely change one outcome as expressed in human genealogy.
We're all made of rocks.
We're all made of rocks. Is completely far-fetched. The reality is we don't have a perfect one-for-one mapping of if I change this specific gene, it will have this exact outcome. So, CRISPR is it's much more akin to a scalpel than the hammer that we used to use for genetic engineering, but it's still not exact. So we don't know for sure that just by changing this one gene will actually make them immune to HIV,
correct,
or malaria, or anything else. And we also don't know that it's not going to introduce a host of other massive health complications. We don't know. And that's part of what makes what this one Chinese doctor, and mind you, they did it without the permission. This guy did it without the permission of the university he was at. He did it without the permission of the Chinese government. This is a guy who went totally rogue and did this on his own. These are changes that if these kids have the ability to reproduce, these are what we would call below the germline gene changes, which means these gene changes will be expressed for all of these children into the future. If these 2 girls grow up, have kids of their own, those genetic changes will be reflected in their DNA as well, and then those kids' DNA, and those kids' DNA, and all the way on down the line.
Effectively, from those baby girls and the rest of their chain, when they have children, and their children have children, and so on and so forth, they will also be immune to HIV, malaria, and AIDS if it went right.
They will have genetic changes, and that's part of the. Again, human experimentation is always a touchy subject, and especially when you're dealing with kids. We don't play. When it comes to kids, I don't play. I have zero tolerance for anything messing with kids.
Experiment on me, don't care.
Yeah.
Don't touch my
kids.
Leave
kids alone.
Don't touch my kids.
So, yeah, I mean, the fact that they're basically experimenting with 2 kids bothers me a little bit, but at the same time, Andrew's right. That's both exciting and frightening. So they will be some very closely monitored little girls to see what happens in the long term, because if it works,
that's a big deal.
That's enormous.
So it's such a big deal, and part of the reason why is like, so genetic changes were, like Greg had mentioned, always with like hammer-like. They just go in and do a whole bunch of things. It was never exact.
Very inexact, yeah.
And also extremely expensive.
Oh,
however,
my gosh, yeah.
CRISPR now is very precise and, by that same token, extremely cheap compared to what it was when you had other genetic things that you were working on.
It's just like almost every other technology. That's kind of the fascinating thing about the time that we live in right now, is just like every other technology of the past that used to be crazy expensive and crazy huge. I mean, the same parallels are drawn between, think of where computers came from.
Yep.
A room full of expensive electronics that could, barely compute a couple of numbers together, and now we have more computing power at this table. Oh my gosh, light years more computing power at this table than NASA has had to put men on the moon by a long shot.
Yeah, so that's basically what they're saying is CRISPR-Cas9 right now is essentially like what the computer was in 1974. So just wait until basically 2018 version of CRISPR-Cas9. And here's the other thing.
Or whatever that thing unlocks, whatever the next version of that is.
And here's the other thing. It's not going to take 40 years to get there. No. It's talking about the curve is very, very fast.
Yeah.
We're going very, very quickly when it comes to figuring out what does version 2.0 or 3.0 or 4.0 of CRISPR-Cas9 look like. Me personally, am very excited if it gets, like some of the big ones is ALS, MS.
Yeah.
If you can get rid of those are huge things. But then you start to get into we've taken care of kind of the big ones. What if you get things like cancers or heart disease?
Cancer would be a big one to me.
Cancer would be a huge, massive, massive get. And there's talks that they can do that.
Yeah.
But then you get heart disease, cardiovascular disease, things like obesity, and God knows I need to lose that. I'm huge. I'm like a whale. Like a beluga.
Thanks, Bailey.
But the things like that is like, but then you start to get into, okay, wait a minute. So just because you want to lose a little bit, you want to lose a little weight,
take some
CRISPR. Take a little CRISPR-Cas9 and you'll wake up in the morning and you can be like 40 pounds lighter. Woo!
It's
like, look, sign me up for that.
The slippery slope. Where do you draw the line, though? Like,
I don't like my eye color today.
Right. When you get into that, the cosmetic side of things, like, is that still acceptable? Like, what's the medical risk to that? We don't know.
You could effectively say, I want to be super strong, super smart, super fast, have the perfect hearing, perfect sight, and you would effectively make the perfect person for your generation and everyone forward.
In your direct
lineage.
Descendancy. Yeah. So in that, therein lies, I think, a lot of people's concerns is, especially in this day and age, a lot of people are looking at, look at how San Francisco reacts to Silicon Valley.
Terrible.
If you are not involved directly in the startup culture or in IT or in something technology related in Silicon Valley, Silicon Valley has a terrible reputation in and around the Valley just because of how many people are effectively displaced by all these crazy rich people creating all these businesses, generating all this wealth that does not make its way back into the surrounding area. So I think some people, some of it does, but not to the scale that those companies are making money. Like, everyone goes there, they make their money, and then they roll out, and now they got a ton of money. And meanwhile, drive up and down the strip, and there's a massive homeless problem. So that wealth is not really being effectively redistributed. Not that I'm advocating for, like, wealth redistribution or anything like that, you know what I'm saying? It's just not making its way back out into the community. And I think a lot of people are afraid that this type of health technology, like the ability to make yourself smarter, faster, stronger, so on and so forth, if that gets trapped in rich people's zone, what does that mean for the rest of us? Like, we're going to be left behind in every conceivable way, genetically, physically, mentally, financially. That's a recipe for disaster. So I think
it's terrifying.
It's absolutely terrifying. So when you talk about, like, it's one thing to talk about disease immunity, but the thing that I'm the most afraid of is we can all collectively, live studio audience, people online, we can all kind of collectively write down a list of things that we say, sure, I think this would be a great way to help humanity as a whole. Eradication of diseases.
Yep.
No question. Maybe even metabolism tweaks, like like
America, great idea.
America has an obesity epidemic.
I think it'd be a great idea.
So helping to either maybe process some of America's processed food problem a little bit easier, you could probably talk people into that. But the further away you get from that and into the more cosmetic stuff, or the I want a biological advantage over my competitor or another family or whatever, the closer you get to that, I want to be smarter, I want to be faster, I want to be better looking, I want hair that never...
You want hair like me. It's like me.
Exactly. I want a Pro Hawk for always. That's where you lose a lot of people. You lose a lot of people with that. So
you do. I get that, but the disease thing is such a big deal.
I know. It's
such a big deal.
We had this conversation. I'm definitely afraid that the problems that we all agree we want to solve, what happens if those are the hardest ones to solve, but the easiest ones to solve are the ones that have the biggest impact? I want to keep my hair. I want to be better looking. I want to be smarter. I want to be faster. If those are the easiest problems to solve, they will get solved. Like,
well, the other problem
is, happen. It will happen.
When you open up the box to say, I want to use CRISPR-Cas9 for this thing, it's just a matter of time before somebody else does it with another thing. The technology is there. They'll just figure out, it's that gene.
Yeah.
Well, and then I'll just go take that one and I'll do a thing, and then it's fixed. Like, once it happens with one thing, it's not an if it's going to happen for something else. It's just when. So, like, the guy's talking about it now, like, getting rid of HIV, malaria, and AIDS. The rest of everything else, it's just a matter of time before they figure out which gene to target to make that thing on or off.
And that's it. What's surprising to me is how many times I talk to somebody who does not buy into the idea that it's just a matter of time. Like, so many people with artificial intelligence, with technological progress, so many people argue that, like, well, you don't know that it will happen eventually. And it's like, look, even if you assume a 0.1% improvement year over year, 0.1%, that alone is still growth. It will happen in a matter of time. If it is physically possible at all, it is going to happen just by the law of mathematics alone.
Yep. Like, the guy has figured out which gene to target for HIV, malaria, and AIDS. It's just a matter of time before someone else figures out which gene to target to make my kids smarter or have blue eyes and blonde hair and a big beard and a glorious flowing Pro Hawk.
Mr. E Roots, he wants to grow a massive beard with that.
Yeah,
I think that's what it is. I think that's
like, the idea is it's just a matter of time to go, I need to turn on this gene to generate and stimulate hair growth.
Yeah, because
boop, turn it on. It'll always be on.
The alternative is that everybody, for all time, and that includes all future generations going forward, everybody forever has to agree to never, ever try that. Like, never, ever try to edit that one gene.
Oh, okay.
And that's just never going to happen. Like,
don't eat that apple.
That's what I'm saying. It's just insane to think that it's not an inevitability. If it's at all possible, it is going to happen just based purely on the law of mathematics.
That's correct.
China, what are you doing to us, man? Creeping me out, dude.
I don't know. It's pretty sweet, though. Like, I'm
hesitantly hopeful.
I am excited about that. I have high blood pressure, OCD, and a freaking rubber tire around my midsection. Give me something I can inject in my skin, and overnight, part of that's taken care of.
You don't think that there's value in overcoming that on your own, though? Granted, there are certain things. There are certain things that you can't fix yourself. But the idea that it's like, you know what? I'm going to do something about this tire. I'm going to go run a marathon because you got Mickey Mantle jeans.
Oh, we're going to go with the Bert Kreischer reference.
Hey, for you,
Mickey Mantle jeans.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it would be nice, but it's one of those things like, man.
Look, I'm sorely tempted. If I could just, this is going to sound awful. If I could just shoot up and have, like, Adonis bod, done.
I don't even want that. I don't even want that. I just don't want to have high blood pressure.
Yeah.
Like, that's my thing is like, look, I'll carry the weight. Fine. I'll carry the weight. It is what it is. I just don't want high blood pressure or high cholesterol.
Yeah.
Like, I could work out and do those things, but there are people who are significantly larger than me that don't have high blood pressure or high cholesterol. I just do. It's genetic.
Just the genetics,
It's just genetic. There are people who are skinnier than me that have way higher blood pressure and way higher cholesterol. I'll never forget that a former boss of mine who was half of my weight, literally half of my weight had significantly higher cholesterol, and he ate clean. He just
genetics, man. Genetics
and so like
suck.
For that particular bit, it's like it doesn't matter what you do. So like in the grand scheme of things, all day long, every day, twice on Sundays, if I could take something to get rid of blood pressure and cholesterol, I'd do it. No question.
Yeah.
Because I would live longer.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's going to be the thing that will ultimately, regardless, I mean, even if it's a 50% shot, you know that there's going to be people that will line up around the block for the opportunity to.
I can't say that I wouldn't consider it.
At a 50%.
I can't say
50% shot. I know you would consider it long and hard.
I would. What's the other other ramifications? Yeah. Like it's 50% it works or 50% it's just like saline in the blood. I'm lined up.
Oh, there's no question.
There's no question. I'm lined up on the street.
Yeah, there's no downside. But if it's 50% it works. 50% you die.
Okay, that's pretty aggressive. I don't think
Agreed.
I would take 50-50.
No, I'm sure you wouldn't. But I'm also not saying that there's not a boatload of people.
I would be consider the 50-50. Like I won't deny the fact that it would be like, ooh, okay. Well, how much is like my what's my return on investment from?
So
living?
when you say die, like
how dead are we talking? Are we talking 100% dead? Are we talking like I got the worst flu? I feel like dying, or are we talking about dead? That type of thing.
Man. Hey, why don't you talk to the people about? Let's bring it up a little bit because I'm depressed thinking about how China is about to eat us alive. What is the deal with Google Home and Echo looking bleak?
Oh, jeez.
Because this is another topic you threw out there. I have no idea what you're talking about.
So, this is overrated. ZDNet, I'm going to call out. I'm going to go straight up call it
Full
out.
Disclosure, coming out the gate, you're like, this is overrated.
This is overrated. So, ZDNet made this article. Now, it's supposed to be tongue-in-cheek, and it annoyed me. Because essentially what they did is they took a conversation between, they basically combined Alexa and Google Home and then smushed it together and called it like Liz or something like that. Yeah. And there's a 9-minute video on their site that basically talks about how Liz has incorporated herself into her life, and they thought it was really cool at the beginning because they would talk to her and she'd be like, oh, hey, I know you're Greg and I know you're Scott. And it would know more and more about you because it's consuming your data, data.
Okay. I'm with you.
Because you're giving it more data, to the point where at one point it looked at the father in the family and was like, you shouldn't eat that because you have high cholesterol. Don't do that. You should really eat a salad. Like things like really becoming overbearing in the home, and to the point where it was also then ordering more versions of itself. And then finally implanted itself into the brains of these people.
So this is clearly a work of fiction.
It is.
Yeah.
The first they basically filmed this 9-minute video in like chunks of 90 to 120 seconds.
Okay.
Where they made it like very commercial like.
Sure.
So like the first 3 are like, okay, that's happening today. That's pretty cool. Like okay, that's borderline a little bit creepy and like okay, I get that. But then at the very very end, it's super science fiction-y like. Really far out.
Okay, gotcha.
Like the one girl tries to escape the house and she goes to like this old lady neighbor and she's like, "What's wrong, dear? Oh, how can I help you?" And then the voice of the Liz, the voice and the eyes light up red like she had taken over the old lady. It's again super science fiction-y. My problem with this is they're like, well, it looks bleak because this is really what could happen. Is like you could essentially let them completely take over and control your life. It's like, hang on a minute. This gets into the phenomenon that we talked about. It's like, like AI is going to let it go so far, but they took it and then just rolled off the edge to say like, well, I mean, clearly the future sucks because you're going to let it control your life and it's just going to dictate everything that you do to the point like where it's like, pass me the beans, and they start. Like, it's such a weird like 9-minute video that there's like I think part of the comment was like, well, clearly this isn't happening now, and I'm not saying that it will, but I'm not saying that it won't. It won't.
So you're not making a statement either way then.
So let me just go ahead and tell you, what you described in the very, very end will not happen in our lifetime. Now, I'm not saying you wouldn't implant some of that stuff into your mind at some point, I guess.
Neural
it would
lace.
Be like, neural lace having a computer in there. But then that gets into the conversation of, okay, but then the computer really is talking for you, and you're nothing but just a bag of blood and organs.
Yeah.
Again, it was just...
I mean,
I don't know what I watched it, and I'm like, this doesn't tell me how it looks bleak at all. It just tells me that if you let the AI run and take control, it just looks like hell.
Yeah.
Like, well, duh.
Yeah, I mean, what's funny is when you look at works of fiction about near and long term future, especially when you're talking about artificial intelligence or like the future of technology, almost everything boils down into one of two camps. It's either ultra dystopian or ultra utopian. It's either Star Trek or it's Skynet. There doesn't seem to be much middle ground. And if you do find a middle ground, it's because that middle ground takes place earlier in the dystopian time frame, which is exactly what this is. Like, the idea that the computer's taking over is just it's earlier on in the history of, and then eventually the computers kill us all, or eventually the computers, squash out individuality and we all become, the Borg or whatever ridiculous thing. I think it's far more likely that it's going to be somewhere in between. Almost always, it's never as bad as you think. It's never as good as you think. It's somewhere in the middle, and that's exactly what this will be. And so I'm even willing to give you that it'll side more on the slightly creepy, semi-negative side relative to what we're comfortable with right now, because our kids and our future generations are just going to be kind of comfortable with the idea of giving up personal privacy.
Yeah. And so here's really where the whole, let me just save you 9 minutes. Don't watch it.
Take the red pill.
Don't watch it. And this is where the article really gets me, and I'm going to throw a little bit of business at you as soon as I read this.
Ooh, okay.
She starts telling Dad what he's allowed to eat. After all, she's accessing his medical records and biometric data.
Yeah.
She knows that the daughter is having trouble with a classmate, so she offers a little robotic parental advice. Let me go ahead and tell you just a little bit of that. The idea of holding and a company having health data on you and then just free-flowing and letting that go, there are laws in the U.S. that prevent that from happening. Yeah. There are substantial laws with substantial financial penalties that no company wants to partake in. I'm telling you right now that the privacy aspect of people's data is a big deal. It's not just going to be those things that they're just going to willy-nilly give. Now, Google does have some biometric data on you.
Sure.
You have fingerprints.
I have Google Fit.
You have Google Fit. Yeah. So it knows a little bit about you. But if you're trying that level of stuff, you're talking about like cholesterol level or glucose level. Now, granted, they are working on that contact lens thing, but the point is, it's like, I don't know if that's ever going to get to a point where you just free-flowingly allow a AI assistant in the home to just say, you shouldn't eat that, your sugar's too high. No, that comes with a substantial financial penalty for a company that I just don't think they're just going to openly throw around.
Well,
I just don't think that.
And I feel like all of the people that are in these type of commercials or whatever, these little bits, it's like they took people from today and transplanted them into the future where these devices exist. And I think the reality of it is those devices are going to be produced organically, just in a matter of time. Iteration after iteration, and the people will then come to accept new features iteration after iteration. So, ergo, by the time you get to that stage where you have a device that even if we said, let's forget about the legal side of it, even if something happened and these companies figured out a way to be legally allowed to do it and it was all perfectly secure, those people, you don't have to buy the device.
Bingo, that was exactly the point I was just about to make. If you don't like it, don't do it. Don't do it. I do it because it's very convenient for me.
Yeah.
You do it because it's very convenient for you. Kids love it. But you know what? If you don't like it,
don't buy it.
Don't do it. They're not forcing you to do it.
Like, we know right now that the Apple, the Apple Watch, the iWatch, or whatever,
the Series 4. Apple Watch, the Series 4.
The one that does the what is it, the heart thing.
Yeah.
Like, it'll detect heart palpitations and stuff like that. Cool. That is biometric data. That is exactly what we're talking about. Mm-hmm. And if that creeps you out, don't buy the watch.
Yeah.
That seems pretty straightforward to me.
Don't do it. That's all. If you're creeped out by this stuff,
it's brilliant, by the way. I think the watch is brilliant.
It almost got me to the point of switching to an iPhone.
And I don't have heart problems, but I still want to see it.
I know. I almost want to have a heart attack because of it. No, I don't. I don't want a heart attack.
Yeah, please no. JK.
Just K. JK. BBQ. LOL. W2F.
Oh my god.
I don't want it. Don't buy it! It's not hard!
Seems pretty straightforward to me. You can do any more?
It's creeping me out. I don't want it in my house. Don't put it there. Well, you better not buy me one. I'm not going to buy you one. I'm creeped out by it. Shut up. Shut your hole. Shut your hole. I don't want it. Do we have anything else?
I mean, you want to talk about Microsoft?
Not really. That's such a downer, man. Like that was. I feel like we had it was a pretty good way to go there. Like I feel like we had to uplift a little bit.
It's 50-50. So Microsoft wins a $480 million contract from the military to bring the HoloLens to the battlefield.
Bad idea.
Now,
very no bueno.
Yeah, it's super no bueno. So basically, the short version is the military is supposedly going to buy $100,000, more than $100,000 worth of headsets, and the idea is that this is all part of crafting the next generation of quote unquote super soldier, or at least cybernetically enhanced super soldier. And what they want to do is basically overlay battlefield information over top of, you've basically got goggles on that would give you battlefield information, maps, or status on squad members and stuff like that.
Increase in lethality, mobility, and situational awareness.
And they're calling it the Integrated Visual Augmentation System, or IVAS, which I'm sure they'll call IVAS. Because, I mean, military loves acronyms, whatever.
That makes me nervous.
This is a thing that they've been working on forever. I used to be in the military as well. When I was in, they were still talking about this exact thing, and I've been out of the military for a while now. Clearly, they were talking about the exact same thing. They had their own special, even more crazily expensive devices that did the exact same thing of what they're talking about now. The only difference with this is that they're basically paying somebody else. This is the military's initiative to do what's called COTS, commercial off the shelf, COTS. They're just buying commercial off-the-shelf software and hardware that does the thing that they were investing a bunch of R&D into to do anyway. So, I mean, look, fundamentally, it would be awesome if we could just maybe stop at the whole war thing entirely and maybe just everybody get along. I'm on that train, don't get me wrong. But I also think that at the same time, some of the craziest technological advances that we've seen, including things like computers, all came as a byproduct of dealing with the consequences of warfare. So this may be yet another way that augmented reality, virtual reality type of things just kind of spread out and make their way into popular culture that eventually circles back around and impacts products that you and I end up buying somewhere down the road. So, it sucks that it's military contracts. The military-industrial complex is scary to say the least. But is it super promising that they could potentially have some breakthrough there that makes its way to a cool product for us in the future? Absolutely. That's exciting to me. A little terrifying.
It's kind of terrifying.
Yeah.
Like, I always get a little apprehensive when we start mixing data and the potential weaponizing of the data. That's where I always go like, okay, hang on a minute. What are we attempting to do here? That's where it gets a little... It tingles me a bit. Because I don't want to weaponize the data. Like, weaponize it in a bad way. A lot of companies are weaponizing data to where they're making product personalization or something that's better for the consumer. But I don't want to, when I say weaponize the data, like literally use it to be extremely hurtful.
So I don't think the intent behind this is necessarily weaponizing data. I think what they're looking at is better intelligence, a better intelligence display and gathering platform for the soldiers and, airmen, Marines, whatever. Look, I love you all military people, but just follow me on this one. The people that are on the ground, it's a better intelligence display system for them. It's so that they can see, where are my squad mates, where are the bad guys, where are the bullets coming from, where's my objective, what's the map look like. It's that type of intelligence displaying feature set that outside of when you get away from the ground, like when you get to higher headquarters and stuff like that, we're sitting down at our desks and we see all this intelligence displayed on screens. And then by the time you get down to you're a dismounted patrol walking through a scary neighborhood in Baghdad, Iraq, you don't necessarily have that same intelligence. What you have is a radio, and that's old, outdated technology. So again, as battery technology, computational technology progresses, all we're doing is just moving that stuff into a more and more disconnected, independent platform, and that's what this is. This is just the next generation. This is sort of like carrying a ruggedized laptop out into the field so that you can...
Yeah, but what's to say that you couldn't just take and put that same HoloLens headset on not people?
Oh, so the next logical progression of this, let's be real, is policing. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the police have AR-15s, they have M16s, they have MRAPs. I've seen police with military upgraded, like heavily armored trucks, like the SWAT team and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, it's absolutely kind of the next. I don't want to call it logical progression, but it doesn't take a science fiction author to extrapolate. This technology is super successful and super useful to the military, and suddenly you got a bunch of police departments that are lined up using it. And are we as a society okay with that level of radically enhanced police force?
Well, no, but I go back to the point, like, if you have boots on the ground,
yeah.
You have this thing strapped to your face, and you're feeding the data back to, like, a common command center somewhere that they can see the same thing that you're seeing.
Mm-hmm.
But you, the one boots on the ground, are ultimately the one saying yes or no, I'm going to do a thing.
Yeah.
You take that away, and you put, like, a robot or a thing that's not human there.
Yeah.
But person in the control room is now pulling the levers.
I mean, that's you're talking about drones. You're talking about the Air Force level drones that exist now.
Yeah.
The difference is it's on the ground.
Right.
That's
what I get into the weaponizing the data, because the data is just over here.
Yeah.
But it still takes a human being when you have boots on the ground. But if you take that human being out, you're literally just looking at raw data points, because you're not in that situation.
I mean, I see what you're saying, but again, I think you're looking further into the future than what this specific contract is talking about. Because I literally, from my read on it, they're talking about a project that I know I've seen for years, and again, this goes back to when I was still in the military too. A project that I've seen around for a long time, talking about, they called them cyber enhanced soldiers, but really what it meant was just being able to tap into. Google Glass was like the perfect example when I was still in, is the idea that you could have a little heads-up display that was internet connected, that you could basically receive intelligence on. And again, things like, path to objective.
And that was not well received.
No, it was not.
Oh my God, no! I had
Google Glass. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
you had several of them. You bought one, sold one, and then bought one again.
No,
you bought two of them.
No.
Yes.
No. I didn't buy two of them.
Okay.
I bought one, and then one didn't work, so I sent it back, and they sent me
I thought
a new
you
one.
bought the second one, though, too. Because I thought you bought one and then got rid of it, and then went, no, I'm going to get it again.
Oh, no, something was broken. The foil messed up on the end, and then I sent it back and got a new one. I loved it. Loved it.
It was.
I think it was just two 4th of Julys ago, maybe 3.
Which is crazy when you think about it.
Yeah.
A couple of years back.
I had it. It was great.
It was here and gone that quick.
And it's gone. But now it's coming back.
The industrial side.
And medical.
Yeah. Well, you're seeing the same thing with HTC Vive. The Vive Pro is kind of getting a second lease on life through material design and industrial manufacturing, and anytime you need to do data visualization and you want to be able to see, kind of interact with data up close and personal, they're utilizing that, which I think is interesting.
I love it.
That's it. I got nothing else, man.
I got nothing. Hit them with the socials.
Okay, thank you all so much for stopping by to check out the live stream. We appreciate you all. We love you all. Hey, man, cheers to 10,000 and many more. And
at least another 1,000.
Thank you all who were able to make this happen. Socials, you can find me on Twitter, because it's about the only thing that I ever do, at Ominous Hominid. You can find him.
First of all, his is, again, if you missed it, at Anonymous. At Scott Peachy on the tweet machine, although I have just a few days left of my no socials November that I've just completely blown out of the water. And at not the real, almost said the real. At, what? At.
We'll wait.
The Scott Peachy. I almost messed it up again. At the Scott Peachy on the gram.
Are you sure,
I'm not sure. At Scott Peachy on Instagram. I do love Instagram way better.
Yeah, you do all the Instagramming, and I'm a way bigger fan of the Twitters, because whatever. Nobody wants to see any pictures that I take, let's be honest.
I have become, at least, like, on a level of 1 to 10, at least a 2 in photography.
Boy, you're singing some high praises for yourself there. Ooh.
That is really hurtful.
You're welcome. You're welcome. No, actually, you have been taking good pictures. I can't wait until I don't use my 4K camera for pictures at all.
Oh, we did talk about, does Facebook still suck? Oh, I'm sorry, Miss Sheila. We'll get that on the next one. Sorry, that's my bad.
Real talk. 10-second conversation here.
Facebook sucks.
Could not believe how many Facebook-related conversations had made it to the news this week.
Bad.
It's insane.
They are a dumpster fire.
I feel like they're
Zuckerberg will lose his job before...
He says he's not going anywhere.
Zuckerberg will lose his job before middle of 2019.
I don't buy that.
Calling it right now.
I mean, I'm almost willing to shake on that one.
I'll bet.
I know you will. You'll bet on anything. The other thing, the other Facebook sucks conversation is the topic that we never got to talk to is so Facebook at one point in time launched a YouTube competitor called Facebook Watch.
Yeah, it sucks.
It was terrible, and Facebook eventually realized that it's terrible. If you've never heard of it, I'm not surprised because neither has anyone else.
It's because
nobody uses it. So they've decided that they're going to spin that and target. I believe they called it older demographics.
Yeah, older generation.
Which I don't think they're going to watch it either because
it sucks.
Younger generations are not on Facebook. They are all going to
Instagram. Well, it's still owned by Facebook, so Facebook still gets their data, which is fine. But the point is, Facebook is a cesspool.
Yeah.
Cesspool.
While you double down on your Instagram stance. Facebook's a cesspool.
Facebook is a cesspool.
But I love me some Instagram.
But I do love Instagram. It's pictures.
Yeah.
Look, Facebook, I got rid of it because it just became a cesspool.
Yep.
People felt as though, like, this goes back to the point that I just...
Let it all out.
This is a safe space. I've got to keep this one to myself. I have to keep this one to myself.
You got anything else, man?
I don't. Facebook still sucks.
Yeah. Oh, hey, real quick. Miss Sheila says that her Instagram was hacked. Dropped it like a stone. Watch out.
2-factor authentication, Miss Sheila.
Yeah.
Come on now. You know this.
Well,
if you don't have one of these YubiKeys. Thank you.
Yeah.
If you don't have one of those, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, I will agree with that.
Also, so I have 2, so I take my account protection very seriously. Obviously, this is the one that you put into your computer.
Put it in your computer.
Like that, and the little light right here lights up, and you press your finger on it and gets you in there. This one is actually for my main Google account. So this is a Bluetooth 2-factor authentication key that you have to physically have on you when you're trying to log into your account.
Yeah, that's...
So I have to physically
security of the future right there.
I have to physically carry the key with me all the time.
Yeah. Inconvenient, but, I mean, it's the balance between security and...
It's the convenience of this.
Yeah, well, that too. Yeah.
So.
All right, that's going to do it for us for this week. Thank you all so much for stopping by. We appreciate all your eyeballs and all your subscriptions, for sure. So, this has been the Technically Speaking live show experiment, episode number whatever.
12.
What are we on, 12? 12?
12.
God, 12, it's crazy.
I know.
Whatever, I have been Greg. This has been Upper End of Mediocre. Sorry, what's your name again?
CEO.
CEO Status Scott. That's going to do it for us. We will see you all next week.
Hey, his name is John Cena.
And his name. Yeah.
John Cena! His name was John Cena!
Thanks, Mr. E-Root, for your congratulations on 10K. I appreciate you.